Today, I thought we could talk a little bit about nature, right? You are
Yes.
you love nature. You are very keen
Mm-hmm.
on saving the planet, so to speak, and how that ties in with your attitude towards healing, towards balance in life.
So I
Yeah.
had an interview from the Rotary Club in Hua Hin. They asked me why I started the foundation
Mm,
based on environmental issues. I told
mm,
them because when I give healing to people, I realize we're all in a collective field. So if animals or trees or nature is not in a happy mood, and then the impact for our children, first of all, and then I have 4 dogs. I can see the impact with the dogs and cats and then the whole things. There's no way you can offer a deep healing if the whole environmental issues is not I don't say resolved, but it's there's a big impact on general about the field that the whole ambience is impacted. And you know that I have founded this foundation far before COVID. And then after you realize that COVID is a part of this result of human beings not happy and
mm.
stressful, fearful, and always ambitious about getting more, and then they use this weak point to of fear, especially to get the collective impact. You know,
So,
that's in short. I think that's the explanation that I can give.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Sang Foundation, which is working a lot on ocean, the pollution of the oceans,
Yes.
and
While you're there. Yeah.
yes, I remember. Yes, of course.
Mm.
It's wonderful work. I admire you for that. Um, and plastics, of course. We should reduce our use of plastics as far as we can,
Mm-hmm.
certainly.
Yes.
Now, health and healing, there needs to be balance in the body. And according to you, and according to what you're saying, health and healing in the body is reflected in the world, or maybe the world is reflected in the body. So, how do we bring the two in balance? How do we bring health and healing to our body and to the planet at the same time? What can we do?
I um I watched a recent video, very short. They measured the blood, uh, the image of the blood before the lady walk into a garden and then touch the Mother Earth, and you can see the two differences of the blood is incredible. I mean, she just walked down maybe 10 minutes later and came back to the laboratory. And then the technicians show the difference of the blood. One is really happy blood, full of energy. One is like stress, slowing down. So it's scientific. We are human beings. We're born in the earth, on the earth. We're not
Mm,
separated from the nature at all.
mm,
Unfortunately, we don't give this kind of education to our children, and most of the our children can say 100 names of the brand names of Nike, Reebok, and this and that, but they cannot even name 100 animal names. That's
mm,
how we are disconnected. So I think why I emphasize on the healing, it's because I also took several courses. One of the courses is a body talk course called
mm-hmm,
Mindscape. Then they teach you how to communicate with the trees, with the trees together with the soil and from the insect and all this. And then you realize that it is really something we lost completely. Yeah, so if you have the ability to connect with the nature, actually you're much happier because your ego is it's becoming small, and the rest is it's you know that you're part of the nature. So you're no more you yourself, but you're a group of the energy that you enjoy. And then each workshop, when we started this kind of practice, I asked people to lay down on the grass, put their ear on the soil, and listen to the message of the Mother Earth. Some people they cry because they didn't realize that they are not alone. You know, we're talking about your higher self, your this and that. Is where is my higher self? It's just on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, under your feet. Yeah.
People, all of us, I would say, not people, but all of us have a few basic needs. And I often think of safety and belonging. These are the two needs that we have. Without safety, we cannot build a world that we like or that we can enjoy. And without belonging, we're lost. So what you're talking about is, although belonging is often referred to as family, friends, but you're talking about something bigger than that. You know, this is where you were born. This is all of your heritage is here. This is where you belong. And maybe that's something that people have lost or have lost touch with, right? So
completely, yes. I'm reading a book. It's about the American boy from Ohio and went to India and became an Indian Swami, and he meditated in a really cold weather cave for hours or days. And I was thinking, how can I do it? I'm too comfortable in my environment, and sitting on a piece of rock and meditating without eating, and buzzing around by mosquitoes. And who am I? You know, what is the value that we give to us? Why we're so important? Yeah, so that's something I think that the fundamental healing is there, because if you're not afraid of the cold, you're not afraid of the mosquitoes, actually you don't get sick. It's almost like you can pull through all this hardship and be supernatural. Yeah.
It's so interesting to have these conversations with you, because there are two things that you often focus on. One is fear, and the other is balance with Earth, right? Mother Earth. So people, am I correct in that you notice that people are very often living in fear and disconnected from nature, and that leads to big problems that are hard to resolve? But it becomes part of your therapy then, you know, it becomes part of your work, that you are helping people to reduce fear and to find balance with nature. Am I correct in that statement?
Yes, I think you should also go through different steps. For example, I couldn't go through my fear just immediately. So people need religion, because they have something they can hold on. They call it the spirit of God, and God it's everything. Is Allah or Muhammad or Shiva, or everything's the same, but it looks like we need someone to guide us. So we are in between the the icons of God like Krishna or Ganesh or Jesus. We are also an icon for our patients or clients to hold on and say, okay, if I go to see her, that she will give me solution. And then me, I will go, so I have to go to my higher self or my God, and then it will give me solution. So it's almost like deep in our collective consciousness that we're not able to listen to the God inside ourselves. And that's really what I've been also experienced with the hardship of pain and all this. I start to realize that we don't believe in ourselves.
How would you work with an atheist, if you're talking about God in this way?
That's
What
why
is that?
in my
What is the resource for
yeah,
them?
in my sessions, I always refer to the light. I always say that
Right.
bring everything and release everything to the divine light. So when we say something divine light, they can visualize something. You don't have to say it's a God, it's Jesus or something. But for them, I think it's also scientific, because when you dissolve all the emotions, all the photons and everything, it becomes light, because photon is light.
Right.
Right, yeah. So when you have a frequency, a high frequency, and you go beyond the speed of light, is for people, there's a reference that they can refer to. It's the divinity and the light. And then you say also that the security and the place you belong to. So you belong to your mother, you belongs to mother, you're a group of people, you belongs to a country, you belongs to something. It's very, very deep inside our human psychic. We need to belong to someone. And if you want to become a hermit, um, that's another story, because I don't have comment. I never really be a hermit and live in a cave, but I do believe is something that is detached to the society, and it's not necessarily good for everyone. Yeah.
The world is a little bit too much. They just turn off. It could be. Anyway,
No, there are a lot of
yeah,
stories like the
yeah.
Buddha gave up the hermit, and he realized this is not the solution. The solution is really to be altruistic, to help other people, and then the joy will flow naturally inside of you. That's different schools, because I have done the Mahayana school, so it's almost like going out to serve other people and see God in everything and loving everything. I will not be satisfied if I'm only loving myself in a cave. I cannot imagine how can I get my enlightenment. But that's another school, another theory. Yeah.
So, balance with nature, belonging to nature, belonging to your group of people, your chosen people, and finding a way out of fear or through fear. These are some of the more basic ideas that people perhaps should focus on in order to access healing and better health. Would that be fair to say?
I'm always encouraged by also the signs on the sky. For example, after our workshop, we always have a very significant crowds coming up. I sent you a photo that after our workshop in Gold Coast, we really had this third eye came out from the sky, and the right time, the right moment. If we were out 30 seconds after then the wind blow and the eye will disappear. So there's also some photo you have seen, that the highway
Yeah.
of the skylight and then the herald of the moon, and there's a lot of confirmation, I should say. I don't know if everybody can see it, but those people who participate in our workshop can witness that. So I also do believe that if we um, manage to get everybody's mind focused on the outcome of a phenomenon, and then supernatural is possible, because it's already imprinted in your subconscious mind. You just project it to see it, right? Like you are a hypnotherapist, you know that it is possible. A group of people seeing something that the other group cannot see,
That's right.
because
That's right.
their energy is, the frequency is right there. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also had the experience of a much bigger Buddhism ritual, so like 3,000 people, 4,000 people. When people's heart follows the same rhythm of mantra or mutra or sutra and then prayer, uh, for world peace, and really the crowds opens up, and everything you feel is it's opening up, and even the air feels much fresher. Maybe it's just a phenomenon, but I do believe that we could change a lot of things, because it's the quantum particles, and you can always um, project that. Yeah.
There's a lot of energies, of course, when people
Yes.
connect. There's a lot of
Yes.
energy, whatever you want to call it. I call it energy,
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes. No, you're
how true.
you're right. Yes, it's true. Yeah.
Now, you do workshops. Let's talk a little bit about that, because working one-on-one with a client is very different from working in a group.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you feel is, how many people usually come to your workshops? How big are your groups when you work as a group?
In Turkey, I had a big workshop around 270 people,
Oh
because the
my.
organizer
Mm,
is a big organizer. And but I do prefer a small workshop. That means 6 to 8 people, not more than that.
right.
And sometimes in London, in yoga places, so I have workshop around um, 30 people. I limited to 30, because in a very limited time, you cannot really go deep. And then I want people to really feel the shift within them.
Mm,
And it's not a question of numbers. It's really how deep you can go, right?
all
So
right.
it really depends. For example, there's a festival of feminine organized by a group of women. I went in the one in Bangkok, in Jakarta, in Kenya, and it's about 50, 50 people. And
Mm,
so that's another story. You have to design it differently, because you have very limited time,
mm,
and it's also how you project the time. It had been a very significant study for me, because when I say, okay, I have 20 minutes to do so, but I can do it. And then it's almost like at the end, it's just exactly 20 minutes. I'm just amazed to say, wow, I did it in a time frame, because I think that kind of exercise helped me to ignore the time, but I get into the time frame, and I utilize the time frame, and then I really understood that the time is not linear at all.
Now, I want to pick up on something you mentioned here. You said that if the group is big, you can't really go as deep. What do you mean when you say that? You can't go as deep when you work with a big group?
Because how do you say? There's also language problems because, for example, in Turkey, they need to translate, so it takes time. And deep means people feel the impact, feel the things, but they think they participate into a collective trance, but it's not for them, because many people has the intention to go there to be healed, but themselves, not as a group. And then maybe the first experience for them is like, oh, I participate, the group is wonderful, but how about me? After the workshop, they always come to me and say, do you have some time for me, and I can discuss with you? And I realized that because our mind is so limited to say, I don't want the online session because I want to one-to-one session. I don't want a group session because I'm here to heal myself. I want to get the benefit for me. That's what I mean. Yeah. So you don't get, unless you emphasize that, okay, this is going to be the group, but it's also focused on you. But for some beginners, if they don't have too many hours of meditation, and it's difficult for them to accept that.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, there's a certain intimacy perhaps, but maybe even better would be vulnerability. If you go and if you feel that you want to be healed, then you are, I mean, it's good because you have come to the realization that something is wrong and you want to fix it. But in order to do so, you have to admit to yourself again in the healing process that you are vulnerable. And that can be something that is uncomfortable for people in large groups,
Right, exactly.
It's easier to be vulnerable in a group of 6 to 8 people, maybe,
Exactly. Yes. And also man and woman groups are also different, because mostly when you have this kind of workshop, you have much more women than men.
Well,
yeah, mostly, or most of the time. And so the men get intimidated because they are in minority. But most of the time they feel the motherly love from the group, which is quite surprising. But most of the time they feel like, oh, they're all women and we're just a minority.
well, that's a conversation we can have a different day, right? How men and women process these things differently, and how we can work together.
Yeah.
Mutsumi, wonderful. I know that you are still at Villa du Lac. That's the place where people come and do workshops with you. This is in Hua Hin, 2.5 hours outside of Bangkok. And maybe this year, 2023, maybe you will do some workshops in other places too. We can hope, right?
Yes, I have a lady who's going to open a new center in Ho Chi Minh, and she's coming for Chinese New Year. So we're going to establish a new program there. And I know there's a festival of feminine on the beginning week of March in Bangkok. So I will be one of the facilitator, and I'm going to Miami before going to Peru in April. So we have a workshop in Miami and a workshop in Peru. I'm going with the group of great brethren for Machu Picchu.
Oh,
And
wow.
so the program is going up, and then next summer in Australia, I think I will program something in Gold Coast, because it was
Is
quite a,
that Australian summer or,
yes,
yes,
Australian
okay.
summer. So
So
it will
around
be
Christmas
near
maybe,
like
right?
no November, yeah,
Oh,
November
yes,
time,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
and then normally September, October, I go to Turkey and Europe, and I like to uh, go adventure to Greece this time.
Mm,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Plenty of travel
Great.
coming up and workshops. So
Yeah,
people who want to work with you or attend your workshops, they can find your information on Villa du Lac Facebook page or
yes.
on perhaps on
Oh, Omroom,
omroom.net.
Facebook, yes. Or they
Yeah.
just WhatsApp us, because I do a lot of tailor-made
Mm,
workshop, and
yeah.
then sometimes it's spontaneous. For example, last weekend I have this Thai young commercial producer with his girlfriend, and they wanted to come for the weekend, and we had a special workshop for them. Yeah.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. So if people want to
Yeah.
work with you, they can either work privately through Skype sessions, Zoom sessions, or come face to face with you, or even join a workshop that they can find out about on
Yes,
omroom.net,
and
right?
then we
Yes.
also have we also have these full moon rituals. We have a place to do the fire rituals with a
Oh,
hand drum. So this we will do quite often, as long as I'm here, and then we probably will do it regularly, once a month or once every 2 months. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
Very interesting. All right, Mutsumi, thank you
Okay.
so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you so much. Yes, and look forward to see you for other stories.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you again. I'll see you soon, Mutsumi. Take care. Bye bye
Okay,
for now.
see
See
you.
you next
Bye.
time.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.